What's up guys, this is Dave from the Dave Stuff. Today we begin a new series to reduce input lag on your system from start to finish. You may ask, why would I want to reduce my input lag? What does that entail? Does it make my system lighter? Yes, it does. It'll make your system lighter, more responsive, you'll have higher performance, and less clutter in your system. You may also see an improved battery life. This will be a multi-part series based on the number of tweaks and refinements that need to happen on your system. Now, this will work with all versions of Windows 10 from 1507 all the way up to 2004. There may be some slight differences here and there, but for the most part, a lot of this will work. I'll be focusing this tutorial or this series on Windows 10 1909. Surprise to some people, it may be, but since most people are running Windows 10 1909, we're going to ensure that as many people as possible can get the best performance out of their systems. Before we start, I want to emphasize the changes we are about to make. Although starting from simple, they'll become more complicated and much more aggressive as we go along. I'll call out the changes that we're doing based on risk as we go through this. Note, any changes to your system from this point forward will be done at your own risk, so do take cautions, although I'll provide some insights on how you can mitigate or have your own partition of Windows 10 so that you can actually make changes separately. If you're ready, let's get started. Part 1. Operating system. Whenever you install Windows 10, Microsoft tends to download the drivers that are compatible to your system and then installs them. Although it may be convenient, there are some issues with that process. First, the drivers are compatible, in other words, limited, but enough so that it functions on your system. This means as well that the performance and some of the additional features that you may utilize may not be present. If you ever do install Windows 10, it is important to ensure you have the drivers for your system. This can include, but not limited to, your motherboard drivers, your sound drivers, network card drivers, video drivers, and so forth. An optional piece to do as well is to ensure you're on the latest BIOS of your motherboard. They may contain performance updates or even security improvements for your system. So do check to see and evaluate if you should make any updates to your system. Although I mentioned earlier the aggressiveness of some of the changes, System Restore may not resolve the issues that we're about to undertake. So please proceed once again with caution and at your risk. If you have a large enough drive, 500 gigs or more, one option would be to split it amongst different partitions. As you can see on my screen right now, I have 3 hard drives, but they're divided into different partitions. The first partition, although it states tweaked OS, is the system that I'll be using to tweak my system, and I'll be going through in this guide. The main OS is actually the first partition on my system. This system will have very limited tweaks as I want it to be the most reliable. So I will use my second drive, or second partition in this case here, tweaked OS, which is Windows 10 1909, to get as much performance out of it while I game or simply just testing things here and there. You may also want to consider this if you have a large enough capacity on your system. If you don't worry, but keep in mind as we go through this and listen and read and watch for cues that would indicate that what we're about to undertake is going to be more risky, and make a decision if you want to pursue it or not. All changes on your system are optional and at your own discretion. It's recommended to use a solid-state drive or NVMe drive whenever you're looking at improving your system performance. These drives have the greatest benefit, although maximum throughput is not the only thing in a solid-state drive that makes it stand out. Looking at maximum IOPS, inputs outputs per second, with their read and write speeds, provide more of a real-world scenario, specifically looking at sustained read, write, single, and multi-file transfers. Check websites like AnonTech, Linus Tech Tips to see if they can provide any direction or guidance prior to reviewing or even replacing your drive today. We'll be covering a lot of utilities and apps in this session, so all the links and names will be posted in the video description. Note, credits will also be displayed where applicable. As we start, we'll be beginning with a clean OS installation. However, you can use this at any time with your current setup in Windows. Next, I'll be installing the drivers on my system offline. That way, Microsoft will not download and install drivers for anything it deems missing on my system. That way, I'll have the best performance and reliability. If by chance your manufacturer no longer provides support for the drivers, then you can simply use the Microsoft drivers. Please ensure that you do check that before proceeding. Some of the drivers I needed to download from Windows Update. However, I'll be performing the rest of my updates through a utility called Snappy Driver. The link is in the video description if you'd like to go and download it. Snappy Driver can do a good job of installing the drivers, but sometimes it may be inaccurate. Just make sure you know what drivers are being installed prior to running the utility. Next, we're going to run Windows Update to see if there's any updates for our system. If you've just installed Windows, in my case, and you have updates pending, it could take a little bit of time before they're all installed. So I'm just going to speed up the video in this part here just to get through this to save you guys some time. Okay, we're back. We're going to check Windows Update one more time in the event Microsoft has another update waiting for us, but it shouldn't require a reboot. We'll find out. No additional updates. We're now good to move on to step number 2. In step 2, we're going to go through some visual tweaks to increase our performance and responsiveness. Does this make sense so far, guys? Comment below. Let me know if you've seen an increase in your performance. Keep watching, and we're going to get into some better stuff. Next, we're going to go to Control Panel. So type in Control in the search bar, select Control Panel, go to System and Security, go to System, go to System Protection, and you'll notice on my C drive my protection's off, the System Restore option is grayed out, and the Create option is grayed out. What we're going to do is we're going to configure the C drive. And we're going to turn on System Protection, and from there we're going to increase the max usage to 5%. Click on Apply, click on OK, and once we've done that, we can create a System Restore point. So click on the Create button. And for good measure, we're just going to type in Backup, click on Create, and after a couple moments, it will complete the System Restore or System Restore point setup. Next, we're going to go back to Advanced, go to Settings under Performance, select Adjust for Best Performance. Then we're going to check Smooth Edges of Screen Fonts, Show Window Contents while dragging, and Show Thumbnails instead of icons. Click on Apply. Then we're going to go to Advanced. And in the virtual memory section, we're going to select Change. And if you have only one drive listed, that's okay. But for anybody else that has more than one drive, and your other drives could be hard drives instead of solid state, we're going to make an adjustment here. So remove the check mark under Automatically Manage Paging File Size for all drives. And if you're like me and you have a partition set up for your page file, you can select the page file and select System Managed. Click Set. If you do have another drive and it's not set up in that manner, just ensure it's set up for a solid state drive and not a hard drive. That way you'll have faster performance. In my case here, I'm going to go back to my C drive. I'm going to remove the paging file from there. I'm going to select set. I'm going to click yes to this. I'm going to click OK. And it's giving me a notification because of my other hard drive or solid state drive using the same path, which is fine. So I'm going to choose yes. And from there, I'm going to click on OK and OK. Next, we're going to go back into Control Panel, click on Appearance and Personalization, and then go to Ease of Access Center.
Always scan this section.
We're going to remove the check marks.
Always read this section.
Here and there. Next, we're going to go down to make the mouse easier to use. And we're just going to ensure there's nothing checked here. We're going to click on Set Up Mouse Keys. And we're going to turn this off. And we're going to turn these off. And we're going to turn this off as well. I'm going to click on Apply and then OK. And once we've done that, we can go back to Ease of Access Center. We'll scroll down to make the keyboard easier to use. We're going to remove the check mark here. We're going to go to Set Up Sticky Keys. And we're going to remove all the check marks. And we're going to click on Apply and then OK. As we scroll down, nothing else is checked. And once we've done that, we can click on OK. Scroll down. I'm going to just check the Use Text or Visual Alternatives for Sounds to make sure there's nothing selected. And we're going to set this to None. And then we're going to click on Apply and OK. Scroll back down to make it easier to focus on tasks. Remove the check mark under Toggle Keys. And we're going to set this to the highest threshold here to 5 minutes. Once we've done that, click on Apply and then click on OK. I'm going to scroll down again to make touch and tabs easier to use. And we're going to set this to None. Click on Apply, click on OK. And once we've done that, we can go back into Control Panel again. We can go into Hardware and Sound. And we can go to Devices and Print. Actually, we can go to Mouse. And then from there, the double click speed, we're just going to move it back a little bit so it is in the center. We're going to click on Apply. We're going to go to Pointers. And it's the default, which is fine. We're going to go to Pointer Options. Remove the check mark and enhance pointer precision. This is very important, especially if you're playing games and first-person shooters. It can really affect the way that you aim with your mouse. The sensitivity settings will be totally inaccurate from what you set them in the games. So that's the reason why we're removing the check mark. And we'll leave the motion pointer speed in the center. Once we've done that, we can click on Apply. And once we've done that, we're going to go to Wheel. And this section here is optional, these two. We're going to bring them down to 1, but experiment with them at your leisure. Click on Apply, and then click on OK. In the event you need to go back and revert those settings, just set it back to 3 for the horizontal and vertical wheel settings. Once we've done that, we're going to go to Sound. In the Sound section, I'm going to turn off the options in here that I do not use. So I'm going to right click, disable, and do the rest, the same thing. That way my programs, my apps, my games do not conflict. We're going to select speakers, in this case here. We're going to go to Properties. We're going to go to Levels, and they look okay at the moment. We're going to go to Advanced, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all these settings in here just for lower input latency. And we're going to set this to 16-bit 48,000 Hertz. Once we've done that, we'll go to spatial sound. And it's set to off, which is correct. We're going to click on apply, and then we're going to click OK. We're going to go into recording. Same thing, we're going to turn off these options that I do not use. I'm going to go into properties in my external mic. I'm going to go to listen, which is correct. I'm going to go into levels, which is fine. I'm going to go into advanced. And for my advanced setting, I'm going to also change this from 2-channel 24-bit to 2-channel 16-bit 48,000 Hertz. And again, remove all the check marks in here. Click on apply, and then click on OK. From there, we're going to go into communications, and we're going to set this to do nothing. Click on apply, and then click on OK. Next, we'll close this window, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the start menu. We're going to go into settings. We're going to go into gaming, and we're going to turn this off just so that it does not interrupt our games. And then we're going to go into graphics settings for the moment. Now, if you're on Windows 10 2004 with a later version, you're going to see the accelerated GPU scheduling option. Make sure it's on, and if you do have a variable refresh rate option, set it to enable to both settings, and then apply them. For everyone else, this setting is sufficient, so we're going to go back, and then we're going to go into captures. Going to make sure that this is set to the highest settings possible. Set this to 4 hours, and I'm going to turn off recorded audio. I'm going to remove the capture mouse cursor. I'm going to set that to just a standard because I do not capture with that option. And in broadcasting, I'm also going to turn this off. And again, remove the check mark. Once I've done that, go to game mode. And I'm going to turn this off. That way I do not get a random pop-up in my games. And once I've done that, I can click on back. And one other thing in that section, you may see an option to disable full screen optimizations. After version 1809, Microsoft decided to make it a default globally. So games that are running DirectX 12 or later are forced into using full screen optimizations, which has a penalty, but there's nothing that we can do too much about that right now. However, we can actually go into the app of a game and then disable the full screen optimizations as long as it's DirectX 11 or lower. So to do that, as an example, I'm going to go back into File Explorer. I'm going to go into a directory where games are installed. So I'll click on Games and Apps, Games x86, Epic Games. Excuse me, actually, I'm in the wrong section here. It's actually my iDrive. Games, x86, Fortnite game, binaries, Win64, and then I'm going to scroll all the way down to Fortnite client Win64 shipping. Right click, go to properties, and then go to compatibility, and then put a check mark and disable full screen optimizations. Once I've done that, I click on apply, and then I click on OK. You'll need to do that with any game that launches, and hopefully it is running DirectX 11 or lower. If it's running DirectX 12, Unfortunately, Microsoft has made a decision to force full screen optimizations, despite them stating that it doesn't do anything with performance, but in fact, it does have some input lag with that setting. At any rate, we move on. Next, we're going to run image health. We're going to run option 2, and we're going to let that run. I'll speed up the video and we'll be right back. Next, we're going to run option 5. So this will take a little bit longer. And again, same thing. I'll speed up the video and then I'll be right back. Lastly, we're going to run option 7. And same thing. This is going to take a little bit of time. So give yourself a few minutes, grab a bag of popcorn, drink some coffee, and we'll be back. Enter in option number 9. Now there's a lot of options in here to delete. This is basically cleaning your temporary files, but at a much more granular level. Go through the options that you want to check. Note there is an option there to delete anything that's in the downloads option or downloads folder. So if you do not want to delete anything in there, skip that check mark. Otherwise, select whatever you want and click on OK. And then Windows will take a moment to remove those files. This will take a moment. You can now close the image health utility. We're about to begin step 3. And as we move forward in step 3, this is where it becomes riskier and more intrusive in your system. So we're going to start off with things that are less risky, and then we're going to go on to things that are more risky. So if you do want to proceed, take another system restore, backup. It may work, it may not, but you're proceeding at your own risk. And again, you can choose what you want to do at this point, or you can just listen in and watch and get a better understanding of what to do if you do decide to do it in the future. All right, we're going to run 2 pieces next. First, NSudo. Second, Windows 10 Debloater Master. You can find both of them in the video description. NSudo basically runs an app in God mode, so it's above administrator. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find out where we extracted the Windows 10 Debloater. So in my case, I put it on my F drive and I put it in a folder of Windows 10 Debloater Master, and I did it again. I don't know why I did it that way, but make sure you know where it is. You also need to make sure where NSudo is, because we're going to need them in a moment. First, we're going to right click and then go to PowerShell admin, select yes. And then from there, what we're going to do is we are going to copy this directory. So select it, copy it, and then go cd space, and then paste it, enter. Then there's a command in here in the README that you need to run. So we're going to go open with Notepad, and I'm going to take this command, set execution policy unrestricted, copy it, close it, and then I'm going to go back in here and paste it. Now, we're going to close PowerShell. Next, I'm going to go back and run NSudo. And it is in the launcher directory x64. And then run NSudo LG. Yes. And I'm going to browse. Make sure you browse to the directory of Windows 10 Debloater Master. I've already got it up here, so I'm going to open that. And in front of all this, I'm going to hit press home, type in PowerShell. And then I'm going to check enable all privileges, so it's going to virtually run in God mode, if you will. And then click on run. Then I'm going to get prompted to run the script. And there we go. It's running right now. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on remove all bloatware. So I'm going to move this a little bit. It's going to take a moment to run. And it's going to say finished all tasks. Next, I'm going to disable Cortana. I'm going to go to stop Edge PDF takeover. I'm going to uninstall OneDrive. So I'm going to click on that. And it is going to prompt me, so I'm going to say yes, enter. It is stopping, it is disappearing, and this is going to take a moment. It may be faster for you, slower for others. It's going to stop Explorer, and it's going to have to restart Explorer. And OneDrive has been successfully installed. Okay, next I'm going to unpin tiles from the start menu because there's a lot of stuff that I don't want in the start menu, as I guess it's still working. Then I'm going to go to disable telemetry and tasks. And then from there, I'm going to go to remove bloatware reg keys. And it says it's done. Now I'm going to install .NET 3.5 because some games and apps still use it. And it says it's been installed. And once I've done that, I can close Windows 10 Debloater. And for now, I can close NSudo. Now, I'm going to run the next two scripts. One's a registry script, and the other one may require NSudo again. First, I want to give credit to Xander Baatz for this registry script. His YouTube channel is linked in the video description. So I'm going to go into registry tweaks, and I'm going to double click on Xander Baatz tweaks. Run. Yes. They've all been added. Now, going to go back, and there is another bloat removal up. So I need to go back into NSudo again. We are going to go into launcher, x64lg, and enable again, browse. We're going to find remove Windows 10 bloat. Again, this one's in the video description. Open, and I'm going to run it. Okay, and that's that. And then we're going to close NSudo. After that, you can reboot, and all the settings that were done have taken effect. This will be under the first part of the operating system series or sub-series of what we're covering. Comment below if this has been beneficial to you. If you want to see more content or if you have suggestions on improvements on future videos, just let me know in the comments. I'll read them. I'll respond to them. With that being said, guys, if you like this video, give me a like. If you want to see this series continue, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be able to know when the next part will be up and available. With that being said, guys, have a good day, have a good night, take care, be well.